It's 2024 and I've got 8 really exciting pieces of camping gear to share with you guys. So while backpacking is a huge passion of mine, I also love camping. It's actually one of the favorite activities for my wife and I to do with our kids. So this year, we're gonna be doing a lot more camping as a family. I'm gonna go on a lot more solo trips, and I wanted to check out some interesting and new pieces of camping gear to integrate into my camping gear system for 2024. So we're gonna start today by talking about the Nature Grill charcoal portable grill. I love to cook really good meals when I go out on a camping trip. And oftentimes we're gonna take some kind of meat with us and we want to grill it instead of putting it in a fry pan or something on the propane 2-burner stove. So it's fun to take a luxury item like this on a camping trip because you can cook really good food on here. What you've got is a removable grill top here that has your grill grate side, and then you can actually flip it over and use this as a griddle. But what I like about this is just the simple function of it. We've already been cooking at home with this. We've got steaks and hot dogs and hamburgers, bacon. So it uses charcoal to cook. So you get a bag of charcoal when you buy this, and this center chimney piece, you put your charcoal inside of here, and then there's a plate down here on the bottom that you squeeze some like burn gel onto, light it up, stick that on there. But on the front of the grill here, you've got a dial that you turn on that runs off of AA batteries that is a blower fan that blows air up through the center of the grill. So it makes the charcoal burn really efficient, and it is virtually smokeless, but it makes for a really nice hot grilling surface that also spreads out across the entire grill grate. So you get a pretty even cooking surface as opposed to a really hot spot in the center, or with like a gas grill, sometimes you get really hot spots and then out on the edges and stuff, it's not quite as hot. Now, the one thing that stands out as a negative to me about it is you don't have any kind of lid for this. So if you are used to grilling and having a lid at home with the grill you use at home, you don't have that option here, but I'm very excited to take this on our family camping trips in 2024 and really put this thing to use. Item number 2 is this 70-liter gear tote from Rucks. This thing is rad. This is a heavy-duty RF welded, essentially weatherproof tote that has a 70-liter capacity. This is a collapsible tote that has some rigid, you know, like those bracelets that slap and they curl around, but they also like snap out straight. You've essentially got 4 of those, one at each corner, that provides the structure for this, but you can push those in and this will collapse down, but once you pull it up, they are rigid and pretty strong. Like, this is a very stable, and the lid here, this is one of the coolest things about this. So it's a tri-fold lid. So I can open this up, I can get access into the tote without having to pull the entire lid off. I can fold it back halfway, and you've even got an attachment right here that makes it so that that doesn't come flying off when you are unfolding it. But if you want to take the lid all the way off, you just undo those clips and then it will come off all the way. And it just has an elastic shock cord around this that makes it go around this rigid plastic piece here, so that you're able to get a nice seal on it. It is RF welded around the body of it, so it's going to protect gear from getting wet, or the opposite, it's going to keep wet gear contained from getting stuff outside of it wet. So for example, I've invested into a pack raft this year, and this is gonna be a companion to my pack rafting gear. Now, it does come at a high price tag, but I do think that the value is there if you are going to be needing something that is very modular, that is very durable, and going to protect your gear. And this is just a really, really high quality, very well thought out piece of gear that I have already really enjoyed, but I can't wait to keep using it for my camping this year. So next up is this massive 16 by 12 size shade structure, basically for me to get all of the shade that I want out on those hot days in the desert when it's really hard to get enough shade from the small trees that you have when you're out on a desert camping trip. This is very modular in that it's going to provide a huge opportunity for me to pitch it in several different ways. The way I've got it pitched right now is going to be the most common way to do it, but I've already had this out on one trip and I was able to attach the lines to some trees and just extend the length of the tarp a bit so that it wasn't so narrow down here at the edges. I was able to have a much wider space for this to provide just a bigger shade area, which is really, really nice. You've got big, tall poles that I'm just like 5'9", and all the way down this ridge, it's like probably over 6 feet in height. There is so much space for you to move around in here. It is awesome. Now, what's exciting about this for me is the fact that I can pitch this pretty much anywhere I want. I'm not limited to attaching it to my car like I have with another awning that I like to use that does attach to my car. Maybe the campsite doesn't allow for that. So I can put this in front of my tent. I can make a big covering for the kitchen area of the campsite. Maybe it needs to go over a picnic table in a campground. Whatever it is, this provides a lot of opportunity for modularity. But I do see one downside with how this pitches. This pole here, there's 2 of them. They're included with the tarp, but they come in 4 pieces and there's just no micro adjustment of the height of the pole here. So if I end up with a section that is too tall, then I can't reduce it by 8 inches, 9 inches, or a foot. I have to remove an entire section for it to reduce down on the height, and that might be too much reduction in height. And I also can't make it go any taller if I want it to go taller. So that's one downside I see with the poles, but they're big, strong poles here. The daisy chain to be able to hang lights or other pieces of gear in here, a clothesline to dry stuff off if you needed. The fabric is also a 4-layer fabric. It's waterproof. It's got a UV protection on it, so it's really meant to be a shade structure, and I'm freaking stoked about it. How cozy do I look in here right now with this gusty wind that is so bitter cold, man? But I am cozy in this Badger Bed 25 bedroll from Born Outdoor. This is really exciting and something that I genuinely look forward to using on my solo camping trips for this next year. When I first saw this, was not totally sold on it. I thought, well, that's pretty bulky. That's a big piece of gear that's very out of the norm from what I usually would use on my camping trips. But the more that I looked at it and when it showed up at my doorstep, I was like, okay, this thing is actually really, really neat. Well, let's dig into this Badger Bed 25 here a little bit from Born Outdoor and just go through what you get as a full kit here. So this is a bedroll. Bedrolls have been around for a very long time. They're not a new concept, but it's not something that I have personally ever used in my camping. And that's why I'm excited to try it, because it's different. It's a new idea for me to incorporate into my solo camping trips. So what you've got here on the outer shell is a ground sheet that is also insulated, that has a flap here at the top that provides for your closure system, but it also gives you a place to stand with your shoes off to get changed and stuff without standing in the dirt, which is really nice. Your sleeping pad that is used with this kit is the Thermarest Mondo King. So this has a 7R value to it. It's a 4-inch thick, self-inflating style of pad, and it's very comfortable and a really nice option to be included with this bed. Then you've also got a flannel sheet set that has a fitted sheet that goes around the pad, and then you've got your top sheet. Now here I've got 2 of their down Sierra quilts for really cold temperatures. You can add or remove as many different quilts as you want and really make this a nice modular system. But these quilts are filled with 650 fill power down And then you've got your zippered top piece here that's kind of like a soft shell type of material. So it's got some stretch to it, and it makes it so you can just close everything up, and it's gonna break the wind as well, which is nice. Then at the top here, you've also got some organization, which is really nice, a zipper, Velcro pocket, and then just places to put chapstick, keys, phone, whatever you want on there. Everything unzips and comes apart, so you can wash it really easy. But you've got clips and things and some toggles to be able to attach everything together. So it's not gonna like pull up and expose your feet and be really cold at your feet. Everything clips together, has snaps, and this is really, really well manufactured and a smart design. Next up here is the Marmot Limestone 4-person camping tent. I wanted to get a new 4-person tent to use this year because I need to take more than just one tent with my family now. My kids, my 2 oldest daughters, are actually now sleeping in their own tent. And we've been using a 3-person tent for 2023, but I wanted to have a slightly larger tent for them to sleep in that gives us a bit more space for them to move around, but also to put gear and stuff inside of the tent without being super squished. So this provides a big living space and doesn't have a huge footprint, but it will be just a really nice option for me to have for my kids. But also if I'm going just myself with 1 or 2 of my kids, this will be a good tent to use. Now it's 100% polyester fabrics. It is pretty like simple in its build, but it also does have some really nice features to it. You've got good guy out points to it. I do love this big, huge door opening here. So this door opening is one of 2 doors, and it's this big D-shaped door that will open on both sides or all the way for this huge opening in here. And then you've got another door at the back. It's got a 63-inch tall peak height, which that peak height will make it possible for them to stand up all the way, get changed in the tent really easy, and just be comfortable. You got a big awning right here with this door as a opportunity for you to open things up and have some shade if you need some coverage that way. But feature-wise, for the price point at under $500, I'm excited about it. So that's the Marmot Limestone 4-person tent. Next up here is this Evo lantern from Flextail Gear. This is a extendable lantern that extends to 36 inches in height, and you've got a 720-degree rotating head up here that has a max output of 500 lumens. It also will do 2 color temperatures, a more yellow and a more white, which is a really nice option, gives them flexibility of whatever color preference you want. But then you've also got a 40 lumen setting and a 240 lumen setting. So a lot of flexibility with this. You can also rotate the head all the way out and collapse this down, and you can use it as a flashlight. That's just going to be a big floodlight basically. But I like that flexibility with it, and the spring-loaded stand that goes down that also is magnetic. So it's going to hold itself really nice on a magnetic surface. You've got 12,000 milliamp battery inside of this lantern. So you could use it also as a battery bank to charge your phone and such at night. But I like to use this inside of the tent or out on my kitchen table like this so that I can be in the dark, rotate the head, and just provide all of the light that I need for when I'm prepping food, when I'm on a trip where you happen to be in the dark and you're doing any kind of food prep that way. Or if you just want some extra light around the campfire, or again, inside of your tent. So that's the Evo lantern. It does have a pretty high price tag, which I think is the biggest downside to it. But feature-wise, it provides a lot of flexibility, and I think it's pretty cool. Now Santa was very generous this year and brought my wife and I this very exciting Kelty Lowdown Love Seat chair. This is very exciting. Now my wife and I have a chair to enjoy together that is also a bit lower to the ground than most other camping chairs out there. It sits a bit reclined and I love it. It does pack down to a pretty small package. It's got a steel frame. It's got an adjustable armrest. It's on a ladder lock, which is really nice. So it's not gonna fall down after a bunch of use like you see with some cheaper chairs out there. You've got a big cup holder here that's insulated, a place to put your phone. You've just got a really comfortable seat here that I wish my wife was here sitting with me right now. But I like chairs. That's it. Chairs are cool. But I also like that the carry bag that comes with it has a little bit of insulation in it. And right here it says fur baby. So now I've got a spot for my dog to lay down and be out of the dirt and enjoy that multi-use aspect of the whole chair experience here. This thing is sweet. All right, the last piece of gear we'll talk about today is this walkie-talkie two-way 2-watt radio that is going to be super handy for a lot of the trips that I have planned for 2024. Now, two-way radios are pretty simple in their concept. They provide communication opportunity with you and somebody else that's got the other radio. Now, I'm hoping to do a lot of traveling with some friends this year in multiple vehicles because we're going to be doing some like shuttling and stuff. So having a radio in each car will be super helpful. But it's also just a nice communication piece for if you are separating your group in any way or you're going on a hike and you do end up separated a little bit, then you've got a way to communicate. So I like this option because it is a very rugged and durable built two-way radio. It is splash proof. It's got 4 days of battery life, 1 to 5 miles of range in the backcountry, but 35 miles of range when you are in a totally open setting. So that's the walkie-talkie radio. I'll share more about these in another video later when I've got somebody to talk to and I'm not out on a solo experience like I am right now. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thanks for watching today, guys. If you're not subscribed, do subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one. See you later.